All right, it is the Locked On Texans Squad show, and the season starts in the exact opposite fashion that you wanted out of the Houston Texans as they go out to Los Angeles. Defense doesn't do a terrible job on the day. Offense, is it more of the same? We're going to talk about all of it over the next hour right here on the Locked On Texans Squad show.
Yeehaw! It's time for the Texans Squad. Everything Houston Texans, every week. Bringing you the big hits, game-changing plays, and all the action straight from the Lone Star State. The way only the Locked On Podcast Network can. Saddle up and squad up. It's the Texans Squad show, starting now.
Welcome into the Locked On Texans Squad show on your first Sunday after a game. Michael Connor, John Hickman, and Stan Norfleet with you. Typically, we'll have Wade Smith here with us. He was off watching his daughters play college volleyball this weekend, so we'll be looking forward to having him back after the Monday Nighter to start the regular season at home, at least. But, guys, I kind of teed it up there to start things. The Texans go out to Los Angeles, and they lose today 14-9, and what looked different? That's what I titled the show today in our graphics there. I said, "What's different?"
Nothing.
Honestly, was there anything different about this Houston Texans team today that we saw last season?
Nothing.
What about it was nothing different?
Nothing looked different. Well, you know what? I'll tell you what looked different.
Right.
Hey, at the very least, guys, we know that Bobby Slug would have got you 7 in the first half. Would have got you a touchdown at the very least. No touchdown for the Houston Texans today. 9 points. They went into the halftime with the lead. I thought at the halftime mark, they did a very good job up until that point. A very good chess match. But the king of adjustments, McVay, comes out in that second half, and he really puts a hurt into the Houston Texans defense. 7 of 13 on third down for the Rams. That was an issue for the Houston Texans. But I dropped a deep dive Locked On Texans podcast early Sunday morning, getting ready for church. And I talked about it. Hey, listen, McVay is the guy that is a pioneer of making sure that he dictates the defenses by lining up his best guys and putting them in the slot. That is how he creates chaos for opposing defenses covering his offense. And I said, it's going to be a problem, guys. DeMeco Ryans has to find a way to figure that out, to beat Sean McVay in a chess match. And, guys, here are some numbers. 19 yards from Puka Nacua in a slot, 23, 25, 24, and wide receiver Smith, I forget his first name, 36 yards. From my count, wide receiver yards picked up from slot, from guys that was in the slot. That was an issue for the Houston Texans the entire game. It was definitely an issue for Jalen Petrie. And I know I'm looking at the defense and putting a lot of blame on them. Stan, I'm going to pass it off to you, but when I look at matchups and what matters and how the Houston Texans could have won the small details in terms of the chess match, McVay does it again. And DeMeco Ryans doesn't have an answer for the slot problem again.
I appreciate, and that's very astute analysis. I saw the show, and I saw your work that you were tweeting yesterday and this morning, I do believe. And look, I was the only one on this show that thought the Rams would win. And I'm going to directly answer your question, Michael, by saying it this way. You asked me what's different. Mm-hmm. There are subtle differences. But at the end of the day, the reason that I chose the Rams over the Texans today is because Sean McVay is a better coach. Their program is a little bit further along. They have a veteran signal caller that's going to be a man that receives Hall of Fame votes. Many believe he'll get in Matthew Stafford. And they're at home, week one, adjustments. I saw in the second half a more confident football team. The Rams felt like they knew. Now, I don't think they knew it was going to be Nick Landman punching the ball out. But, free agent acquisition from the Atlanta Falcons had 100 tackles 2 years ago for the Falcons, too. But the bottom line is this. For me, I do like a scene set. Both of you have been around me when I go to evaluating games, and the stuff on the peripheral matters. DeMeco Ryans, week one, is now 1-1. Week one is Sean McVay, 6-2. I'll ask you this. I'm going to say this, and then I'll ask y'all to critique it. In the D'Amico Ryans era of the Houston Texans, there are more bad losses on the road than there are quality wins. What's the best win in these 2 years with D'Amico and CJ? It's at Cincinnati week 5 in 2023, right? What if Tyler Boyd catches the ball? If you remember that game. Now, they get it. Matt Amendola kicks the field goal, win. Okay, cool. So that's one quality win on the road. Now, look at the awful losses, right? At Carolina, coming off a bye, 2023. At Atlanta with Desmond Ritter at quarterback.
Back-to-back.
Versus the New York Jets in 2023 and 2024. Yeah. So we need to come to some real conversation. This is a different Texans football team when they play at home versus when they're on the road. So when you ask me, MC, I know that's a super long-winded way of saying what has changed. Nothing. D'Amico Ryans in his program have to do a better job against opponents in their weight class, other postseason teams vying for a Super Bowl. You have to be able to go on the road, in their house and take care of business. And they did not do that today.
Yeah, did not do it at all. Kaimi Fairbairn is the only guy on this team that appears to show
MVP.
up. I mean, literally, it's the same story as last season. I think, and you guys tell me what you think here. I think that's the most disappointing thing for me today is watching this game because, we did all those post-game shows last year is that it always came in here and I would always complain about how the offense was extremely conservative. And you watch the end of the game, you guys talking about McVay there. McVay goes out with the big ones hanging at the end of the game and calls a play action, and they throw it to Puka Nacua, and they execute it perfectly. Then Puka Nacua makes a great play to stay in bounds on top of it. Just a perfectly executed play. And it takes the stones to do that, but it also takes being as established and as great as he is, as McVay is, to go and do these things. Yeah. I think that's my biggest complaint of this era of Texans football, the D'Amico Ryans. I think they're extremely conservative, and I thought they were extremely conservative again today. And I did not like it for one second.
Well, hold on, we can't call them because I'm sorry. Go ahead, John. Go ahead,
because I want to add to that. To your point, when we look at things, what's different, and do we feel like things have changed? And MC, you say a word, the C word. A lot of people don't like to hear that C word. Yeah, conservative. I want to go back and look at the numbers so I can give you guys a clear number. So I'm sure I'll talk about that and dive more into it on the show this week. But the Texans at one point, 2nd and 10, 2nd and 8, 2nd and 7, 2nd and 9, 3rd and 11, 3rd and 9. So when you look at the issues that plagued this team in 2024, of course, early start in 2025, this is Nick Kelly's first regular season game calling plays. And he was out-coached and outpowered by Chris Shula, a guy that he worked with last year. But conservative is the right way to go. I didn't see a lot of scheming guys open. Something that I thought
Nico Collins had 4 targets.
4 targets, 2 catches for 21 yards. I think Dalton Schultz may have led the team in receiving yards for the day.
Nico ended up with 5 targets, by the way. Nico and Dalton both had 5 targets. So still 5.
I look at that word, that conservative word, and I look at the amount of times the Houston Texans, outside of that first and second drive when they got down there to the red zone, they were not able to punch it in. I saw a lot of conservative plays, and that conservative play, you can't win conservatively when you don't have the firepower or star power around that team. Like Nico outside of, I know this is my allergy. This is my see there you this is my allergy you Stan. Like when we looked at Jalen Noel and Jaden Higgins getting drafted, one of the things that I thought that I see more after, this is before Nick Kelly, they were drafted before Nick Kelly, but just I wanted to see Nick Kelly use the motions and all of these things to get some of these guys open. And we saw it in the preseason a little bit. Didn't see a lot of that today. And it was very just straight up, I'm going to try to beat you with my best guys, but your best guys can't beat that opposite team that has McVay, that has the D-line that they have, and the Chris Shula that knows some of your tendencies as well. So I thought play calling was just flat out lackluster, and I was very disappointed from the play calling performance from Nick Kelly in his first game of the NFL season.
I'm going to push back on the conservative word just a tad. My notes tell me in the second quarter, it was a 4th and about 1.5, and D'Amico went for it down there on the LA Ram 19.
You saw him and Titus Howard have some words, I think, at that point on the sideline as he was walking off.
Well, who was it? It was CJ. There was another point in the game that you could tell CJ wanted to go for it. Now, all the excuses are over with. CJ said he wanted more control. You got it.
And you said, I'm glad you said that. 3 of those sacks, I'm putting that on CJ Stroud for 2 of those sacks. My opinion.
I need to go back and look at each one in context, but you may be right, John. I'm not.
I know one of them for sure was on CJ. I can't remember the other two.
So I'm like, whoa, now, CJ Stroud, you wanted control of the offense. You have it. Everybody told me that Nick Caley was a wonderkin. He may prove to be. This is one game. But you guys aren't the only one. Look at the comments over here. A lot of people are saying conservative. The bottom line is you still got Nico Collins out there. You spent a 2nd and a 3rd round draft selection on going to get 2 wide receivers from Ohio State. We'll get to Nick Chubb probably after the timeout. You moved on from John Mechie. You chose to go sign Justin Watson, which I didn't see that coming. We'll get to him in a little bit. But the bottom line is, this is the unit you chose. That offensive line, it looks a little different from the last time we saw it. Now, it's unfortunate. Injuries are going to happen. I get it. Jake Andrews gets essentially carted to the locker room. Cam Robinson cramping up. He comes back. Ariante Ursary, his head has to be spinning right now. Am I left tackle? Am I right tackle? Like, what is going on? But I'm sure that's what he's thinking about. But my thing is, I got to come back. This team did not score a single touchdown with a Rams team that didn't play any of their starters in the preseason.
And that offense wasn't moving like that either.
And a Rams team that you went up against in a joint practice outside of Devontae Adams and Nick Landman, who ended up winning the game with the punch there. Like, I'm not trying to eviscerate anybody, but y'all know how I roll. You got to hold the appropriate people accountable. And Nick Caley, with all that speculation, to trust us and we going to run the ball and play action, I did not see it today. Now, last part for me, because I got into it with my man, Nomad Scott, on Twitter. Saying, what did you expect? It's week 1 in the NFL. Yes, the offense will get better. But I looked around the NFL. I saw Jalen Hurts. I saw Justin Fields go up against a good Pittsburgh defense. I saw him put up 32 points. I saw Daniel Jones hang 33 points on the Miami Dolphins.
On the Dolphins.
Bottom line is we're not going to use the excuse that it's week 1 when lesser talented quarterbacks and lesser talented offenses across this league are scoring points. The bottom line is today on offense, it was a dud. The defense gave them more than enough opportunity.
They did.
And the offense couldn't do a damn thing about it.
And you know what we got to mention? Year 3. You know what else is still an issue in year 3?
Penalties.
11
penalties for 70 yards.
13, or is it 11 or 13? I don't know. It was.
I got 11 for 80 yards.
There you go, 11 for 80. That's right.
And got down to the red zone once.
0 for 1 in the red. Oh,
not gonna cut it.
I'm not done. Nick Caley in this offense. For those that are listening that are just hearing me for the first time, you evaluate a quarterback more than just wins. It's about how you perform. 3rd down, red zone, 2-minute. CJ Stroud, how was your offense on 3rd down today? 2 for 9, 22%. On the road versus a team that has Super Bowl pedigree? No. It was not good enough on offense today. Now, do I think it would be different if Joe Mixon was out there? Yes. Do I think they missed Christian Kirk today a little bit? Yes.
Brevin Jordan.
No question about that. But that offensive line, newsflash, that's going to be a problem all year.
Well, we'll talk about that. I had a question for you guys based off the penalties today as well. And let's get a brief timeout. We'll do that here in just a moment on the Locked on Texans Squad show. All right, real quick before we get back to our Texans discussion, Mazda cars, they're crafted for those who choose to do more than simply move. They follow what moves them every time they drive, and that's what makes Mazda stand out. They go beyond style and performance to deliver a driving experience that feels alive in every detail. Mazda offers more than safety. It just won it's one more 2025 IHS top safety pick plus awards than anyone else. You can feel it the moment you get behind the wheel, the smooth handling, intuitive controls, and standard all-wheel drive at every crossover SUV. It's the small details that make the big plays, and it's just like that. There's more to every player. There's more to a Mazda vehicle. Mazda, move and be moved. Texan Squad Show rolling on after a loss to start the regular season. We did all this talk, guys, about how excited we are to have Texans football back. We pained through the summer, and here we go. They give us a big, fat, stinky, I hate to be this way, big, fat, stinking turd on the road today. That's just what it was today from the Houston Texans. And you guys brought up in the last segment the penalties. 11 of them for 80 yards.
Yeesh.
Does this concern you?
Yeah.
Because we saw this last year too. Are we concerned at all that there is a lack of discipline instilled by this coaching staff? Stan, you're muted, Stan.
Still muted.
Forgive me. Sorry about that. Certain penalties are okay. You know, if Will Anderson Jr. is getting roughing the passer every fourth game or so, okay, fine. That's just an aggressive pass rusher. First series of the Houston Texans, they go 3 and out. First play of the game, mind you. Cam Robinson holding.
And I do want to say that holding call was extremely questionable in my opinion.
It was questionable, no question about that. But again, the history says it happened, so okay. And then delay a game by the quarterback on 3rd and 17, backed up on your own goal line. Like, again, CJ, you wanted this control. You told us Bobby was a damn tyrant and that y'all couldn't get on the same page and he wouldn't adjust. Bobby ain't got nothing to do with being backed up on your own bleeping goal line on 3rd and 17, getting a damn delay a game. CJ, you're a Pro Bowl quarterback. Stop this. It's absurd.
You know what's funny?
So, again, penalties, some are going to happen. Am I concerned about it? Yes. Last thing for me, both of you have heard me say this before. When it comes to coaching on any level, especially in a team sport, you either coach it, meaning you teach it, or you allow it. I'm going to be waiting to see what does D'Amico do about it.
Yeah. I think, Stan, you answered that perfectly. I'm kind of indifferent on whether or not I think it's going to be a problem, but based off of history, it has been an issue with this team. So I'm going to have to side with yes. And I'm going to have to side with it'll continue to be a problem because 3 years in, there's been no change. But I do want to make this little funny joke. You know who else struggled on offense today?
Who?
Miami Dolphins. So all this talk of was it CJ, was it Bobby? It may have been both of those guys. I don't know. They both in new situations and they both had stinkers in week 1.
That was the next question. Was what it was about CJ now. Because CJ, this is we Stanley brought it up earlier. Wants the control, wants all these things. We've had all the talk. It was a great rookie season. We've said it before. The second season wasn't horrible. It just wasn't up to the standard that he set in year 1. And everybody's calling it a bad, terrible year. I mean, they still went to the playoffs and everything, but it was not good enough. We all know that. What did you think about
play? Regrets.
Yeah, what did you guys think about what you saw out of him today? I liked the fact that he at least moved a little bit. He obviously picked up his legs and ran a little bit. Yes. He did have a few good throws in some situations. The interception doesn't. I didn't think it necessarily reflects on him there, obviously, because Higgins just got the ball snapped.
Higgins has to come down with the ball, John.
Hey, you know what? Higgins led the team receiving yards today, at least.
Higgins has to come down with the ball. Period.
What did you guys think about CJ in general today?
Again, I thought that, listen here. Here's a stat. CJ Stroud was pressured on 41.2% of his dropbacks. This is via Next Gen Stats. Now, against that pressure, he completed 9 of 10 passes for 102 yards. I thought that, again, I'm going to account 2 of those sacks of the 3 to CJ Stroud. One of those sacks I vividly remember was the Andrews sack where he wanted to bounce out. And I felt like off of immediate watch, there was room there to step in the pocket, step up and climb the pocket and dump something off over the field.
Trent Green said the same thing.
Or just take off with it, which he had been doing. I thought there was some limitations on CJ Stroud today, but I think the bigger issue, and I see that we have this queued up, is CJ Stroud's I don't want to say inability, but the consistent amount of up and down offensive line play he's had to deal with in the last 2 seasons. And I think that that's an issue for this team altogether, and that's impacting your quarterback play. There were some plays where when the pocket was clean, okay, you got a very good version of CJ Stroud. Even against pressure, you got some good versions of CJ Stroud. But because of the amount of up and down play, you got guys shifting in the middle of the game, you got shuffling going on before the game, which I'm extremely against. I thought Ursary should have stayed his tail at left tackle. I thought Howard should have stayed at right tackle. That's just me, Stan. I know that we're going to disagree on that, but continuity and consistency matters to me for the offensive line, especially last year they didn't have it. But they were not able to kind of do some of the things to maybe get some of those bigger plays down the field because of the consistent pressure. And CJ Stroud had to live underneath. I like that he was able to live underneath, didn't force a lot, but this was a game where I felt like if I had to put a grade on it, I'm looking at just a solid B. The tape may say C+, but a lot of these issues that I saw from today, I can't solely place the blame on CJ Stroud. That's my opinion.
CJ Stroud, no touchdowns. The interception we know was questionable by some. I understood if you listen to the breakdown of the actual rules, the defender had possession of the ball. It could have gone either way. They called it an interception. They reviewed it and obviously stuck with it. No touchdowns, 1 interception for CJ, under 200 yards, passer rating of 74.3. That is all of that is below what we know a level that is commensurate with what CJ Stroud provides. He knows that. We all know that. Now, there are different reasons for that. And I get it. Some people are going to say, hey, Stan, it's week 1. Hey, Stan, you know, this is a new OC and a new O-line. It's the first time they're going out there with each other in live action. Some people are going to say that is a formidable defensive front. They go up against a defensive front every day that's pretty bleeping formidable. The Kyron Williams held in check today. Kyron Williams, 3.7 yards per carry, did have the touchdown, just 66 total yards for him. I thought the Houston Texans defense did everything by and large they could do to give the offense a chance. This was a dud. Then they have to own this. So, and I haven't heard them. I know what's going on now. I fully suspect CJ Stroud is going to take the podium. And he's going to say, starting with me, we got to be better. Were there concerns up front? Yep. And remember all the people, because I disagreed with this. Remember all the people that said, oh, CJ will look back like his 2023 self if this offensive line can just be average. Well, that's absurd thinking. If you're awful and then you play good, that doesn't equal average. That equals a little bit better than bad. So I just thought the whole thinking, and I told you, and I know people going to be all on me because Stan, somehow I'm going to hate on the Texans, which isn't true. I didn't think they win today. But here's just the fact. What's the number one concern I told y'all, the both of you, that I had about this team this year? That they wouldn't bleeping score enough.
Yeah.
And through 1 week, I have proven to be right.
9 points.
0 tuds.
They were that's what drives me the most insane. There was never a threat that they were going to score.
One trip to the red zone.
One threat.
Points.
One trip to the red area.
9 points.
And now, is this going to be 2023 where Kyrie Fairbairn is having to knock down 50-plus jump shots? Like, he's having to knock down 2 50-plus yard field goals to get this team to make it again, like to keep them close. Keep him striking.
He should have held out in camp and gotten a new contract. Honestly.
Good Lord!
Come on,
if
he would have
we had all these hold-ins, like all these guys doing it. This guy's over here. He's literally their offense half the time.
If he would have did that and they would have chose to go elsewhere, we would have saw a 14-0 game today because ain't nobody else routinely knocking down 50-plus yarders. Guys in the game in crucial moments, and this is what I had a problem with today too. I know we got a lot to talk about. I was against guys that are not your best players in the game in crucial moments. Like, y'all like Dare. I think Dare is a great special teamer, good third down back. But hey, man, let's get Woody Marks in there. That's been his calling. Let's get your best players out there. Yeah. No. You gotta do that. You gotta do that. Hey, man, listen. The swing pass to Dameon Pierce, who has never been regarded as a threat as a receiving back in a crucial part of the game.
I'm not trusting a game-winning drive to a rookie in his first game, not start, but in his first game, I'm not going down throwing the ball to Woody Marks. Now, Dare, and I wrote this down, that's the second fumble Dare has ever lost in his career. It happens. It's football. It happened. The Texans were the beneficiary of Al Shire forcing the fumble on the drive previously.
Great play, by the way. Great.
Excellent play by him. Excellent play by him. But on this one, Landman, a veteran in this league, made a play. Dare's second fumble in his career ever. I don't have a problem with that, but I can't go down with no rookie back there. I personally cannot.
You're just an ageist. You hate the young guys. I don't know why.
Listen, I'm not the first football head that feels that way. It's situational. It's not that I don't like Woody Marks. I do. I just thought in that situation, I'd have done exactly what D'Amico did. That would have been Dameon Pierce or Dare for me, given what personnel that they put out there.
The love
now from the offensive line. Go ahead. What you saying?
No, the love that when I say things like this, people make it seem like I'm hating it. I'm not, and that bothers me because I'm just talking the game. But these consistent opportunities that Dameon Pierce is getting in some of these moments have continued to fail Houston since 2022. It's time to move on from.
They can't. Not with Joe Mixon until Joe comes back. They can't do anything. That like the moment, and I kept telling both of y'all this all offseason. Dameon Pierce was going to be on the roster. Like they can't move off of him because they don't believe that they can go get something better.
Well, I'm sorry.
No, I'm just like, to me, today wasn't about Woody Marks or Dameon Pierce.
No, I mean, no, and I'm nitpicking at this. I mean, at this point, but I'm just looking at.
No, it's a fair observation. By the way, Dare Gumbawale, 4.5 yards a carry. Now, Nick Chubb
averaged 4.6.
Nick Chubb had 4.6. We wanted to know where would his carries come in at. 13. That's about right. I said it'd be 15 or fewer. That's about where I thought it would be. The 4.6. That's good for him. Nick Chubb had moments that he's like, okay, if he can consistently, if Nick Chubb can be this when Joe Mixon comes back, then this whole conversation about DP and Woody Marks and Dare is somewhat mute. But I do want to go back to this offensive line thing.
Well, let's talk about it. Well,
okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Let's grab the timeout real quick, and then we'll get into the offensive line because I did want to get into them. We'll do that here in just a second on the Locked on Texans Squad show. Before we get to that discussion on the line, let's talk about PrizePicks. This episode is brought to you by PrizePicks, the daily fantasy app where making the right call can actually pay off. You and I make decisions every day, but on PrizePicks, being right means cashing in. Football is back. PrizePicks is simply the simplest and fastest way to get in on the action. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player projections, and you can turn your takes into real prizes all in less than 60 seconds. Download the PrizePicks app today and use code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONNFL for $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 play. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. What's not right is the Houston Texans losing today and doing it in ugly fashion to the Los Angeles Rams. Welcome back to the Locked on Texans Squad show. Michael Connor, John Hickman, and Stan Norfleet breaking it down with you. Guys, the offensive line today, that's the next discussion to have. The concerns aren't going to go away. We know that. Now, obviously, injuries are already playing into it week one. Where's your level of concern with what went on out there today? And what did you think of some of the guys along that line that did play and how they looked? Stan?
Well, I know how my comrade John here feels about, the conundrum that the Texans were in to start the game. With Ed Ingram, the right guard, being deactivated due to an abdomen injury, the conversation was not about Cam Robinson versus Ursery. The conversation was, is Cam Robinson a better lineman than Juice Scruggs, who is a backup guard because he's not a center anymore, even though he was drafted to be a center. So I agree. Y'all know I would have started Cam Robinson over Ursery. Ursery would have been at right tackle if it was me, and I would have put Titus back down at right guard to start it. Now, they chose what I thought was the right thing to do. You put Cam Robin and the experience at left, and Titus goes out there, and you move Ursary over, and Titus goes to right guard. I thought that was the right thing to do. What the unforeseen circumstance is when you start getting cramps and injuries to Cam Robinson, and then when Jake Andrews goes down, and now you got to insert who I thought
Patterson
should have won out, and Patterson goes in there. It's funny, Patterson went in there, and I think they got more offense with Patterson in there.
Come on now.
Patterson didn't give up a sack. Andrews did.
And again,
that's
the sack that was given up, if CJ Stroud would step and climb that ladder in that pocket, then we wouldn't have that conversation.
Jake Andrews has to block the big man in front of him. And on that one, it didn't happen. So, listen, I get it. So, offensive line-wise moving forward, Michael, maybe it's just me. I suspect Monday night against Tampa at NRG, Cam Robinson will be the starting left. Ursher will be the starting right, and they're going to keep Titus down there right guard. That's what I suspect. Hopefully, Andrews will be back. Hopefully, he won't miss too much time. Never a good look getting carted off, but today's medicine, you just don't know. But that's what I see from the offensive line. Listen, they've got problems. Personnel, period. Even if Ed Ingram had played today, it's just that offensive line and the way it's built is problematic. And then you put in Blake Fisher. Blake Fisher's got to come in the game, and then he gets a 15-yard face mask penalty. What quarter was that?
That was in the early
third
fourth,
quarter,
wasn't it? Late third.
Third quarter. Yeah, late third.
I think for one, it just kind of shows the faith that they have or lack thereof in Juice Scruggs.
A second round pick sitting on the bench.
Yeah, well, who's the best five is their best five. MC Stan, listeners and viewers, this is why I have the issue. For the past month, Ursary has essentially been at left. We've been practicing and preparing at left. Your best offensive lineman, maybe not the most talented, but your best offensive lineman in Titus was back at home. And with that duo, we saw things kind of work out for him. Now insert Cam back into the starting lineup where he hadn't been, not in a live game since he's arrived in Houston preseason, of course, is what I'm looking at. And I think that hindered the potential success of the offensive line. I think that they hindered the kind of day Ursary could have had. And make no mistake, I didn't think Ursary had a poop show of a day. He
gave up a sack too.
He gave up a sack, but when I saw his value, Ursary had a few pancakes out there. Ursary did a good job at times giving CJ some time out there. I thought that his matchup with him and Young was fun to watch. But he had been practicing and preparing for left tackle for the past month and some change.
This is true.
And I thought that was unfair, not only to him, but once again, that was extremely unfair to Titus Howard, who at some point, I know he's not going to say it, and they love that he's versatile and is a team player, but God, dog, can I play what I'm good at?
Yeah.
And I think that's just a fair assessment. Coach, let me go out there and play tackle. I've been doing it the last month and some change. I did everything you guys have asked of me. Initially, I got my body ready to play right guard. Because of injuries, I went back home.
So
y'all know how it is when you don't work out with that one girl and you go back home. You feel the love again.
So just so I'm clear, John, you would have started Juice Scruggs to keep Titus at right tackle.
I would
have
started Juice Scruggs. I didn't think Ed Ingram was that better Juice in preseason.
You know that I'm on team Ursary playing at left tackle and putting Titus at right tackle, but I wouldn't even play Juice Scruggs.
So they had a problem. You got to do something with right guard.
I get it. No, I get it.
Especially going up against Fisk and them boys.
And it's going to get worse because here's the unfortunate truth, right?
Yeah, you're right.
Somebody else is going to get hurt on this line at some point this season.
Yes.
Every team goes through it. This is just game one. You're going to lose somebody else, and there's going to become a period of time where you're going to have to play a Juice Scruggs.
Now, maybe Blake Fisher develops by the time we get into the second half of the season. Maybe Jake Andrews can come back and stay healthy. Maybe Ed Ingram, this is the last time that he'll be dealing with this core injury and it won't be a deal moving forward. Don't know. What I do know is this, and I told y'all this, and I understand that I was in the minority. So I do want some of my flowers. I was in the minority. I said the way this team, the way it looks to be built in 2025, I was uncomfortable with the offensive side of the football. Oh, by the way, I told you I was concerned about Christian Kirk's health.
Yeah.
I told y'all that. I said, I am nervous about this.
Chat,
this
give us
offensive
flowers,
line.
chat.
I told you. I said, this offensive line, I don't know.
Yeah.
So we'll see what the Pro Football Focus grades come back at. I can't tell you of the offensive lineman. At some point, we're putting lipstick on a pig, fellas. I can't tell you who played the best ball out there. It was all bad. I just keep coming back to.
Well, I thought Titus played some good football today.
Here's the real question. Okay, so on the offensive line is in general, are they the reason why the offense sucked today? Or was
I don't think
everything
so.
else? I don't think it was either. I think they could have won. I mean, I think they probably could have won the football game with the offensive line play.
Because how many opportunities did they have? They have the Dare fumble to close out the game, but they also had, I think, even with the trip, with the red zone trip, they may have had about 3 more opportunities to put something together, and they were not able to. I thought a lot of today was just
drive chart.
I thought a lot of today was just the offense altogether didn't look functional. I think that's the best way to put it. It was just dysfunctional.
For a team, remember I talked about last week, or that was this week on Tuesday. Remember I said the Rams secondary returns all 5 starters. Mm-hmm. They were like 23rd in the NFL in terms of most like passer rating against. The Texans were like 1 or 2 in the league. By the way, we got to talk about that too. My boy All-Pro Sting didn't play like All-Pro today. I was glad that he got up. Yeah. I'm glad he got up. But the bottom line is he played through it, but Sting didn't look like All-Pro Sting. And since on the secondary, what was that?
CJ Gardner-Johnson didn't look good either.
No, Bullock and Lassiter looking at the formation over there with Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams. Meanwhile, who was this tight end? Davis Allen is running the flag route for the touchdown that they scored in the first half. Like, your eyes, man.
And that was an issue for Kalen Bullock in 2024. He had a bunch of interceptions and he was great, but eye discipline was a problem for him at times on the simple plays.
Yeah, I don't put this loss on. I can't hang this one just on the offensive line. I can't hang this one just on CJ. I can't hang this one just on Nick Caley. Today looked like what it is. A first-time play caller, a quarterback that's doing some things that he hadn't done before in the NFL in terms of control, a patchwork offensive line on the road versus an excellent defensive front and an experienced team with a Hall of Fame quarterback and a very good head coach, a top 3 head coach in this game. Yeah. That's what it was. It looked like exactly what it is. Now, Nico, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, and to that point, like, so the defense, man, I do want to give them a shout out, give them their flowers, because one of my points of emphasis just was like get pressure on Matthew Stafford, and when they did. They caused the Rams issues. Incompletions. Yeah, got a sack here. The high snap that goes over Stafford's head that gave Houston eventually some.
Will Anderson got the TFL.
They tested his back out real quick on that one.
Yeah, they counted it as a TFL for Will Anderson. He get the sack later on.
Yeah, so like they gave them opportunities that helped Houston get some good field position, but I thought Henry T played extremely well. No Christian Harris allowed out there today. Did y'all know
that? Was interesting too.
Now, you want to talk about flowers, Stan?
Yeah.
Maybe Christian Harris's love is running out.
That 22 draft class got it hard, but I thought Henry T played well. I thought Aziz played well. I thought Danielle Hunter was extremely quiet.
Hunt was quiet.
The defense gave Houston what they needed. I think this was a collective L for Houston because I was very unimpressed. Aside from Kamari Lassiter, I was very unimpressed with their secondary.
Yeah, I didn't see. Yeah, I didn't see. So as much as we like what we saw from the secondary in training camp in the preseason, and we've been out there, two of us, John and I, have been out there to practice, and when you see it live, it's like, oh, this thing could be special. And I said, we're gonna find out, because they got two dudes. Devontae Adams is still a real dude. Newsflash. He's still a number one wide receiver in the
That was
league.
that was like the quietest 70+ yards there. At one point, I was like, "It's not Devontae Adams done anything today?" And then I looked at the box score.
He
He's
had
like
51.
I thought he had more.
Devontae Adams had what?
4 catches, 51 yards.
Okay, it's 51. I thought. Why was I thinking 73?
And remember, we had that conversation. And remember, we talked about because let's be clear, that Rams offensive line ain't great either.
No.
So it's better than Houston's, but it ain't great. Remember, we were talking about, was Puka Nacua a top 10 receiver?
Yeah.
A dude missed a decent chunk of time, and
Really had a
Bubba came
problem.
back and went 10 for 130. Like, Puka Nacua is clearly a top 10 receiver in the league, and
he
Nico
missed
is
time
too.
in the game too.
That's what I'm saying. He missed
Yeah.
a chunk of time last year coming off a knee, and then again today in the game. So defensively, I want to add this up because I don't want this to go unsaid. The defense to start the game, Rams punt, 9 plays, touchdown. And then the next drive to start the third quarter, touchdown, 5 plays, touchdown. The rest of the game, punt, fumble in the ball game. It's 2 drives.
Yeah.
It was 2 drives.
Yeah.
And the offense gave them no run support.
Shout out to the
Yeah,
defense,
man.
2.9 yards per carry for the Rams. Holding Kyron Williams to 3.7 yards per carry. Blake Corum had 1 rush. Run defense was looked good.
What hurt the defense also was third down.
Third down and a few big plays. Yeah, some big plays.
The Rams were 53, almost 54% on third down. That's too high.
Miko mentioned that.
He
He mentioned that in his post-game press conference too. That was not. It cannot.
Yeah, you
be
can't
that.
do that.
And
Yes,
I wonder, of those third downs, how many was it? 7?
They were 7 of 13.
So I wonder, of those 13 third down situations, of those 7 completions, how many were slot targets?
Oh, going back to your numbers, I don't know. We'll have to look at the
I can't wait to
look at
find
the
that
tape
out.
and take a peek at that.
Yeah.
The
one
bottom
for sure
line
was the one that put the game away. Puka Nacua.
the Puka Nacua, yeah, where he outruns Jalen Petrie. I thought Henry T looked pretty good in moments. I thought the interior, I saw Foley Fatukasi in there with a sack.
Yeah, good play. Yeah.
Tim Settle Jr. in there mixing it up a little bit. Sheldon Rankins doing Sheldon Rankins things. I thought the interior was fine, which is so interesting because remember last year the rave was, what are we gonna do? Malik Collins and Sheldon Rankins are gone, and there was so much conversation about the interior.
Yeah,
That conversation has gone away. We don't talk much about the interior of the defense anymore. My man EJ Speed not being disciplined, him getting an encroachment penalty was tough. That made it 3rd and 5. Made it 3rd and 4. I think the Rams converted on that 3rd and 4, if memory serves. So and I come back to it, and people gonna get upset at me, and that's okay. It doesn't mean that what I'm saying is not true. D'Amico Ryans, with a week or more to prepare, is 3-3 in the National Football League. This team did not look ready to play football today.
Yeah. Kamar Lassiter, 9 total tackles. Aziz Alshire. Yeah, from before corner, you're right. But I don't think he gave up a lot of big plays in the air. Aziz Alshire, 7 tackles. Henry T, 6. 1 sack, 1 TFL, 1 pass deflection. And Will Anderson, 4 tackles, 1 sack, 3 tackles for loss.
Who was the best defensive player wearing blue today?
Who was the best?
Yeah, who was the best defensive player today?
Will Anderson.
I'm going to say Will Anderson.
Yeah.
Will Anderson, and tie for second, I'm going to go with the 2 linebackers, HT and Aziz Alshire.
Yeah, I thought
if it's not Will Anderson every week this year, I think it'd be a problem. That's just my expectation for him this year.
So we wondered how good or Stafford's back would feel. And we thought maybe, I know, MC, that was something you really leaned into this week, with the back being jacked up. Matthew Stafford got hit a little bit, but I think CJ, and I'm going to go by the numbers here in just a little bit, Yeah, CJ. I think CJ got more hits. Yes, the Houston Texans 6. So yeah, it's right. It's 6 and 7. CJ got hit as much as Stafford got hit.
There's somebody, Guatam saying, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name on YouTube. Not enough quick hitters to keep DL honest. I don't know why we love testing every team's run D so much. I'm gonna be real with y'all. There were opportunities there where they did get some of those passes out quickly, but then we see the play call back because of penalty.
Very fair
That
point.
matters. That matters, guys.
How was this defense built? We talked about it, and everybody, when they hear the New England Patriots and Tom Brady, people's thoughts immediately go to Super Bowl, or they go to Randy Moss, right? Undefeated regular season.
It takes time.
I don't think people really understand what the New England offense was. It was run the hell out the football, running backs by committee largely, dink and dunk, sound special teams, sound defensively. You know what you were getting out of the kicking game. That's how they won.
Brady's first 1,000-yard
quarterback who never turned the ball
was Randy Moss.
And a quarterback that didn't turn the ball over. Yeah. So today, unfortunate turnover for CJ. I know it was a bit questionable, but today that part went against him. Yeah. But Nico Collins, 3 catches, that can never happen. Ever. That you can't. Well, I don't give a damn what you have to do. Put him in motion, line him up in the slot. I don't give a damn. You got to line him up in the backfield and whatever you got to do to get him some separation to allow him to get into his route. You got to do whatever you got to do. That just can't happen. Shout out, by the way, to the tight ends. We wanted to see Dalton Schultz rebound. Dalton Schultz looked like the guy that got paid coming over from Dallas.
Just stop,
after that first year.
Stop trying to leap people, please.
Yeah, he's not the most athletic guy.
Stay on the ground and just run him over.
And I wonder why that's his go-to.
Cade Stover, too. Cade Stover, I see you.
Yeah, they combined for 50 yards.
They led the team in receiving.
7 catches for 50 yards. I mean, not mind-blowing numbers, but they came when Houston needed it to come. But again, a lot of those quick plays that Houston tried to operate with, it was called back. Penalty. And I think offensively, you look at some of the inefficiencies. 11 was 8 penalties or 11 penalties?
11 for 70.
Penalties for 80.
So how many of those penalties was something that could have been 2nd and 4, but now we're looking at 1st and 15 again.
It's the story of last season. Getting behind the chains was all we talked about last year. This team could not stay on schedule.
Yeah.
And look, again, they're going to say, and I haven't heard any of the pressers, so I'm sure they're going to say, yes, we're disappointed. That's a good Rams team. They've been to where we want to go. They're going to be complimentary, as they should be. Rams a good football team. No question about that. All right, bet. The Houston Texans did not play the best version of themselves today. And I think from an identity standpoint, again, would Christian Kirk have helped today? Yeah, he would have helped. But is Christian Kirk the difference in the ball game?
Third downs, yeah.
Yeah. Is that the difference in the ball game, Christian Kirk? Now, you talk about adding Christian Kirk and a healthy Joe Mixon. Now we got a different formula. Now I'm ready to roll.
Sure. Well, let's talk about the formula for a quick little glance at what has to change leading into next week. We're not going to preview next week's game because we got a couple of shows before we're going to be able to do that. But we can talk about what has to be better before they get there. We'll do that here in a brief moment. Lock on Texans Squad Show. And before we get to that, let me tell you guys about DoorDash. So, the weekend is here. Time to take a look back and crown this week's MVP. Who delivered? Powered by DoorDash. Just like you can win every Saturday with DoorDash Streaks, saving more every time you order. These players delivered when it mattered most. Let's break it down. Obviously, for the Houston Texans today, I think there's a couple of choices for guys that delivered. And you could go with either Kaimi Fairbairn, which is true, or Will Anderson, who delivered in a big, big, big way. When the pressure was on, they both came through when the team needed them. No hesitation, no delay. And if you've been watching week after week, this performance wasn't a fluke for either Fairbairn or for Will Anderson. If a player, if you can go out there and keep doing that, well, guess what? You're going to be named on the DoorDash every single week. Just like that, they deliver. DoorDash delivers every Saturday. With DoorDash Streaks, you save every Saturday you order, stack it up all season, and you could save up to $250 including $100 in DoorDash credits. Order this Saturday. Keep the streak alive. Fuel your game day only with DoorDash. Terms apply. Promo period through November 18th. All right, squad show rolling on for a few more minutes as we're wrapping up the Texans' loss over the Los Angeles Rams today. 0-1 in the regular season. In the division today, by the way, the Colts smacked around the Dolphins. The Titans lost to the Broncos in a really ugly football game. And then the Jags beat the Panthers.
Woeful Panthers.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, you go through the league. I don't know how much football you guys took in today. We watched every game.
All of bad football.
We had the multi-view up on one TV, the regular TV with another one. There were not a lot of great games today. There were some good ones. I don't know if the Texans Rams qualifies as that unless you're a lover of defense. But the question out of it is, what if there's one thing you had to pin it to more than anything else that has to improve between now and next Monday when they take on the Buccaneers? What is it? And we'll get deeper into this as the week goes on, of course.
CJ, get rid of the ball sometimes, man. And I also think, as much as he talked about throughout last year in the offseason, the type of offense and control he's looking for, and he got it, which is great. And I was extremely impressed with how he took what the defense gave him and just used his legs at time. The operating in the pocket. I think that can help not only the offensive line out, but ultimately help himself out. And what must improve as well, Nick Haley, he has to be better. I don't think there's no way around it. He got to be better. He has to find ways to get some of these guys that are not necessarily top-end guys, at least not yet in their career, the ball. But not only the non-top-end guys, you got to get your top-end guys the ball. I thought that going into halftime with Nico Collins had 0 catches, inexcusable. So that must improve.
Yeah. See, here's the hard part. What does this offense want to do, right? I'm real big on identity.
Good question. And
Nick Haley told us all offseason, as did the head coach, Texas football is about being physical at the line of scrimmage. We're going to run these duos, right? We're going to do all these double teams, and we're going to be a gap run team, and everything we do will be based off that. Well, as a team, collectively, they ran the ball 27 times for 114 yards. That's 4.2 yards a carry. But what was I didn't see the follow-up. What was the complimentary pitch? That okay, you told me you told me you were going to play action off of it. Where were the shots down the field? Now you had a few, Justin Watson and some other people. But I didn't see consistently the creativity in the sense of the counterpunch. You did what you wanted to do. Nick Chubb, 4.6. Daria Gumbawale, 4.5. You did what you wanted to do. They had to respect the run. Did you give up on the run too soon?
I thought in the third quarter they did a little bit, and I thought maybe throughout the second quarter that they did. You remember that opening drive against the Vikings where Braxton Berrios eventually scored on that rollout?
The little screen? He came across the formation. They gave him the ball in the flat. And
I could be wrong. Did y'all see any of that today?
They tried to run that same screen and from that same game to Jalen Noel. They tried to run the same thing, and it got blown up.
Okay.
We'll get back to that in a second, too. What has to change, MC? A C.J. Stroud-led offense cannot, under any circumstances, go a whole half of football, especially the second half, and not score any points. They didn't score any in the second half. That's crazy. C.J. is too good.
0. I better
CJ's
know
too
my
good for
name,
that.
man. 0. That's how many points he scored. They
All right,
scored the most that he done.
A lot of pressure on young guys today.
Yeah.
Where we've mentioned Woody Marks. We've mentioned Ariante Ursery. Higgins and Noel. Be honest with me and don't do this because I know MC likes to tug on my chain and give me some bleep. Do you still feel like Higgins and Noel are going to be impactful this year for this team?
So
they're forcing them to be. There's no other option.
I'm asking, what did you see today?
I can't. I like what how many good targets these guys have? I can't gauge it.
That's what I was getting to. Higgins 3 targets, caught 2 of them for 32 yards. Jalen Noah 2 targets, caught 1 of them for 7 yards. If I'm being real, I cannot answer that right now because I mentioned the dysfunctionality of the entire offense, and your number 2 receiver, which he is, he only had 3 targets, caught 2 of them. The other one you would love to see him come down with, but I think that is for me to answer that question right now is unfair. I do want to mention that Jalen Noah had 2 punt returns for 20 yards. And that's something a part of his game that I think will help the Houston Texans as he gets accustomed to the NFL return.
I agree with that.
You know how the NFL the teams go about with punt returns, but I can't answer that question right now. And I think that's fair. But I will say this:
I don't think that's fair. I think what is fair is for us to qualify what we watched.
Right. So we watched
2 guys jump off the screen.
Nobody jumped. Literally nobody jumped.
If I'm going off what we watched,
nobody.
Nick Chubb jumped off the screen.
If I'm going based on what I watched from the wide receivers, then Nico Collins ain't gonna help us for the year. Now, granted, that's extreme. But he only had 5 targets for 3 catches for 25 yards. So I think when we get to the bye week, for me at least, MC, I don't know how MC feels. I would have a definitive answer once we get to the bye week, which is an early bye week for Houston.
I think that's fair.
But 3 targets, and you catch 2 of them, and 1 of them you almost come down with, and then the longest on the day was 23, so you show your downfield ability. That's kind of unfair to answer right now.
Here's the one thing that I'm confident in with Higgins right now is that I feel like he's going to at least make some plays down the field occasionally just because of his size and his ability to get up. That's the only thing
I pick on that.
That's the only thing I feel confident in right now. Because I haven't seen enough to know that the rest of it's going to be there yet.
Because another guy that Xavier Hutchinson ain't do much nothing either today, and he
got all kinds of. I don't know if you guys watch all the pregame shows. He get all kinds of love on NFL Network today. Like, watch out for him. He's a sleeper today. 1 catch.
I think because of the offensive dysfunctionality led by Nick Caley, it's unfair to answer that question right now because your best wide receiver didn't look like.
So listen what I'm saying. I'm not saying tell me right now today what the career of these men are going to be. I asked you based on what y'all thought they would be because the 2 of you were higher on both of those guys than I were. Both of y'all thought that either of them or both of them would be impactful in a meaningful NFL game. I'm asking you 1 game into their career.
Well, one of them led the team in receiving yards, so yes.
So
yes.
Okay, Stan. So I think it's okay to say I can't answer that right now.
Why is it so hard for y'all to say, Stan, for a 2nd and a 3rd round pick that we were high on, what we saw today, I didn't see difference makers. They may prove to be on Monday night. They may prove to be in week 3 and 4. They may prove to be in week 14. But through 1 game, I didn't see guys that were difference makers from a wide receiver standpoint.
It's just not something that I'm concerning myself with, I guess, when I think about this football game. But there was nothing that the Texans did that would make them difference makers today. The play calling didn't improvise to where they're going to go out there and be playmakers. They're going to be difference makers. They played like we said. We use that C word again. They played a conservative style game today. He's throwing the ball sideways. He's throwing the ball 8 yards at a time. Like, you're not putting them in a position to go out there and be one week in and me come on the show and go, oh my God, Jaden Higgins, get him his bust in Canton right now. Let's go.
I'm going to let y'all live for the sake of the time on the show, but y'all know exactly what I'm saying. You just don't like what it looks like right now. And I'm not saying I would have drafted both of those guys. I don't have an issue with them being drafted. I kept saying the Texans, if you're not bringing back Stephon Diggs, and if Tank Dell is as injured as we all know he is,
who was missed,
you're going to have to go get somebody else that's explosive. I don't know about you, MC. You asked if I watched football today. Go down those Tampa Bay Buccaneers highlights and go tell me what Emeka Buka did.
Hey, you guys want a fun fact from today's across the entire league? There's only 1 guy that had 100 yards receiving and a touchdown today. You know who it was?
Who was it?
Bijan Robinson. Not one receiver had 100 yards and a touchdown. Not one.
Yeah, Brian Thomas
real
Jr.
talk.
just sold my PrizePicks card. So
real talk. I do. Higgins and Noel, they will develop. I don't have any issue with that. I'm saying for this season, given this is the last year we're going to be able to formulate a roster like this before CJ Stroud gets his money, and you know what that can do to a roster in the National Football League. I needed immediate impact guys, and that's why in the back of my head I keep looking. What's Emeka Booker doing? What's Luther Burden III doing? What are some of these other situations that's out there? We know Garrett Wilson got his contract in with the Jets today. So I just keep looking around going, did the Texans do enough offensively to be competitive at a Super Bowl level this season? Through one game, granted Christian Kirk was hurt, the answer for me would be no. Now, it can change.
Yeah, it can change.
It can change.
I hope it changes.
The offense at some point is going to look better. They aren't going to be going scoreless in the second half of games for the rest of the year. You're also going to play teams that don't have a front like the Rams do. But at the same time, what is the goal? What is the Texans are at a point right now where you expect to win the division. You expect to win the first round of the playoffs. My question is, do they have enough on the roster in that divisional round to go on the road likely and go beat somebody of the same caliber as the Rams team they played today or better? And you got to score to be able to do that. Now, Joe Mixon be back, and Christian Kirk, we'll see. But I'm very underwhelmed. I'm underwhelmed by what I saw today offensively. Defense, you did everything you were supposed to do within reason. You held Matthew Stafford. I'm sorry. Go ahead, guys. Go ahead.
Y'all gonna like this Texan. Certified Texan.
Mm-hmm.
Question. Stan, this is really probably for you. Are we going to have fans at NRG on Monday?
Yes.
It's going to be a whiteout. It's going to be serious. And every time Emeka Booker does something, I'm going to look at y'all like.
Hey, as long as it doesn't look like, I don't know if you guys caught it later in the day or same time the Texans game was on. As long as it doesn't look like the Seahawks and 49ers game where literally the entire Seahawks stadium was red with 49ers fans, that's all that matters.
No, it'll be a whiteout. It'll look good. Now, this Tampa Bay team that's coming in here, it's a good football team. Baker Mayfield, 3 touchdowns today. It's a good football team.
Looked a little inconsistent today, but he could sling the rock. We know
good
that.
Football team.
We got.
Right. Yeah.
Oh,
go ahead, bro.
Oh, you go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say good football team, but we'll deal with Tampa later in the week. For today, DeMeco Ryans knows they let him off the hook. That was a very winnable game, and for multiple reasons. And we got to say this. What if that's not an interception by CJ? What if that ball is ruled, ball touched the turf, and he didn't maintain control of it throughout, and it's an incomplete pass? Changes the game. What if Dare doesn't fumble? Do we believe the Texans would have scored a touchdown to go ahead right there?
Could have.
But the bottom line is this is why you play. Like anything can happen. What if Puka Nacua doesn't lead a game for a half a quarter? This is why he played the game. So the result is the result. DeMeco knows they let one get away today. And more people are going to start asking the question that I asked to start the show. DeMeco, you are too good of a coach. You have too good of a quarterback and a defense to be going on the road with teams in your weight class or sometimes inferior teams on the road losing ball games. This team has a legitimate, or right now the DeMeco era, this home road, 2 different ball clubs showing up. They got to stabilize that for us to get what we're trying to give them.
Absolutely.
DeMeco Ryan says he still has faith in the veteran running back in regards to Dare Ogunbowale.
Oh, yeah, we know that's the truth.
Oh, he should.
That guy's not going anywhere. Well, you guys want to give out our parting shots for our first loss of the season here?
Absolutely. I want to shout out everyone who stopped by the squad show today, man. We got up to about, I think, 250 live views at one time.
We appreciate it.
I appreciate you guys. We talk about things that must improve. I think the amount of jeopardizing that in bad situational football that we've seen with Jalen Petrie in coverage.
It was a tough day for Petrie.
Yeah.
Parting shot for me. I'm going to say Matthew Stafford, 60,000 passing yards in the National Football League. What they say, the 7th ever or 10th ever to do so. Him and Matt Ryan have some stat. Oh, the fastest. He's the second fastest to Matt Ryan to get there. I don't know that I have consistently given Matthew Stafford the amount of respect that he should get. He is a top 10 quarterback in this league.
Top 5 in the league.
Having to take an epidural shot to go out there week 1, no preseason, very little practice, and to go out there versus the D'Amico Ryans-led defense and to do enough to put his team in the end zone twice. The Rams were 1 for 1 in the red zone. The Texans were 0 for 1. So, like, they did enough to win. I salute Matthew Stafford. Granted, it's in the Texans' defeat. I hate that part, but he did enough.
Really quick, CJ Stroud said that at the podium, he called the Rams loss a wake-up call.
Wake-up call this week 1.
What is wait a minute, but what's one thing you wanted to see throughout training camp and practice from CJ Stroud?
Be more demonstrative and more vocal in his leadership.
When asked why the Texans quarter, this is from my man Chancellor Johnson. He said, "We could have practiced better." He also mentioned it starts with him and with his preparation and holding his teammates accountable. Right, this on the day. A man. What Mike say? I'm starting with the man in the mirror. I like that. Now take that and let's see how that pushes this team, specifically the offense, forward. But I love that from CJ Stroud.
That's what it should sound like.
I can guarantee you we will be having a discussion on that Tuesday night when we get together again. Absolutely. Hopefully, we'll be preparing ourselves for a win next week. We do appreciate everybody that stopped by and watched us here today on the live version of this show. Make sure you hit the subscribe to the channel. Get back. John's got you throughout the week as well with the daily show too. Yep. But we'll be back together, the three of us, Tuesday night, 6 o'clock, getting you ready for the week ahead for the Texans. You guys have a great rest of your Sunday. Go watch some good football. Hopefully tonight we'll talk again Tuesday on the Squad Show.